Imagine walking into a corner store for milk, handing over a crumpled $5 bill, and walking out a multi-millionaire. In that single heartbeat, the job you complained about, the bills you feared, the future you questioned vanish. You've just beaten odds of 1 in 300 million. You should be ecstatic. Yet within a decade, statistics say you're more likely to file for bankruptcy than someone who never won a cent. Welcome to the lottery curse, the first file in our vault of life's strangest contradictions. We begin in rural Pennsylvania, 1988. William Bud Post is a part-time cook living off disability checks when he scratches a $16 million jackpot. Newspapers hail him as living proof of the American dream. Within 3 months, he's bought a twin-engine airplane, a used Cadillac, and a house for each sibling. Friends he hasn't heard from in years line up at his door. 9 months later, Bud has burned through more than half his winnings. Lawsuits pile up. One brother hires a hitman hoping to inherit. "I wish it never happened," Bud tells a reporter, while pawning the plane he never learned to fly. The obvious story is reckless spending and bad luck. But psychologists saw something deeper. Sudden wealth can shatter a person's social ecosystem, triggering a stealthy form of loneliness. On stage sits a couple from Missouri who split $2.5 million. Oprah asks, "What changed first?" The wife answers, "How people looked at us." Invitations multiplied, but so did side-eyed judgment. Who do they think they are? When the camera stopped rolling, she admitted they felt like imposters at charity galas and outcasts at neighborhood barbecues. This isn't cinematic coincidence, it's replicable science. Daniel Gilbert's research on effective forecasting shows humans are terrible at predicting how a windfall will feel. We anchor to the thrill of acquisition, overlooking how gains disrupt routine, identity, and relationships. The paradox: money can buy freedom, yet that freedom can erode the very bonds that make life satisfying. In 2002, construction worker Michael Carroll wins $9.7 million in the UK. Tabloids dub him the Lotto Lout. Carroll spends lavishly on parties, race cars, and, in his words, friends who vanished when the champagne ran out. 8 years later, he's broke, working at a cookie factory. Reporters ask if he regrets anything. He shrugs. "I had fun, but I lost me mum, me wife, me daughter." Money pulls people apart. Why do fortunes fracture connection? Social psychologist Robert Vose offers a clue. In controlled experiments, participants primed with images of cash chose to sit farther from strangers, offered less help moving furniture, and preferred solitary tasks. Money, even hypothetical, nudges the brain towards self-sufficiency. "I don't need you, I've got resources." It weakens the reciprocity glue community relies on. But loneliness is only half the curse. The other half is hedonic adaptation, the treadmill effect. A 2018 study of Swedish lottery winners found happiness spikes for about a year, then drifts back to baseline. The new mansion becomes normal. The sports car smells like dull leather. Worse, everything enjoyed before now tastes ordinary, creating a widening satisfaction gap. That widening gap is where the paradox blooms. By erasing material obstacles overnight, we accelerate psychological erosion underground. Yet not every winner spirals. Enter Cynthia P. from Calgary, 2013. She wins $50 million and almost invisibly thrives. No lawsuits, no broken friendships, no front-page scandals. Reporters dig and discover a peculiar strategy. Cynthia meets a financial planner before claiming the prize. She signs a legally binding cool-off clause. For the first year, no purchases above $2,000 except debt repayment. Freed from impulse pressure, she spends 12 months relearning daily routines, grocery shopping, bowling league, volunteering, now wearing the invisibility cloak of anonymity. When the embargo lifts, She funds community scholarships, not sports cars. 10 years later, still wealthy, still married, still bowling Tuesday nights. Her case rewrites the script. Sudden wealth doesn't doom you. Unguarded novelty does. A windfall is like bare electricity, useful when grounded, lethal when uncontrolled. Maybe you've never bought a lottery ticket, but mini windfalls spark similar risks. A viral TikTok, a surprise promotion, crypto gains. The numbers shrink. The psychology stays. So how do we inoculate ourselves? Researchers at the University of Zurich tested a simple protocol called identity anchoring. Participants imagining sudden affluence wrote 2 lists: core values and social pillars. Core values are verbs, create, teach, serve, that remain valuable whether you own a yacht or a bus pass. Social pillars are the 5 relationships you'd protect if you lost everything tomorrow. When participants revisited these anchors weekly, they showed 27% less material craving and reported stronger belonging, even after receiving $5,000 stipends meant to provoke indulgence. Let's field test right now. Close your eyes, unless you're driving, and picture $10 million landing in your checking account tonight. Feel the adrenaline. Now name one value you refuse to sell out. Maybe it's curiosity, maybe generosity. Write it down. Next, picture the first person you'd call. Your sister, your mentor, the friend who texts dad jokes at 2 a.m. That's one pillar. List 4 more. Secure them on paper, not just thought. Congratulations, you've taken step 1 toward bulletproofing fortune. But anchoring alone isn't enough. We need friction. Behavioral economist Katie Milkman calls it temptation bundling with guardrails. Pair any luxury desire with a philanthropic micro-action. Want the new phone? Match the purchase with a donation that stings just enough to spark reflection. The result, shown in Milkman's 2021 field trials, compresses buyer's remorse into proactive gratitude. A shock absorber against the adaptation treadmill. Before we close this file, let's circle back to Bud Post. Near the end of his life, reporters asked what he'd do differently. Bud didn't mention taxes or trust funds. He said, "I'd ask somebody to teach me how to say no." The real lottery curse, then, isn't money. It's unfiltered yeses eroding the boundaries that protect meaning. So here's your evidence-based action step, the habit to test today. Rename one impulse account on your banking app to Ask Why twice. Each time you move money from it, whether $20 or $2,000, you must pause and speak 2 whys. Why do I want this? And why will future me thank me? If either answer stalls, the transfer waits 24 hours. Simple, frictional, proven by a 2022 Discover Card analysis to cut regretted spending by 1/3. Next Monday, we crack open File 02, Effortless Mastery. How a violin prodigy practiced less and achieved more, and what her brain scan teaches about peak performance. Curious why subtraction often outperforms addition. Meet us there. If this story reshaped your view of wealth and happiness, share it with one person on your social pillar list. You'll strengthen both a friendship and a paradox truth. Giving insight often feels richer than receiving cash. This has been Paradox Case Files. Keep questioning the obvious, and I'll see you in the next contradiction.